go ahead and introduce yourself to anybody that doesn't know.
Yo, and we are live. Let's go. Yeah, I'm Fred, the underperforming hobbyist, and I'm live with B-DoN the magician. Cool hat,
Sorry.
by the way.
Thanks, man. Had to make a little custom. It's not merch or anything, but a little custom something for myself.
So what's with the name B-DoN? Because your name's Brandon, right?
Yeah. That is an old, a really old nickname. Let's just say I used to not be the most well-behaved child, and so it was a joke. It was a play on my name, like a joke that they ran out my name because I wouldn't run from anybody.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, so it's like a little bit gangster.
Yeah, you can say that. You know, little got some scars and stuff here and there.
Oh, I see. Okay, I like that. So you took ran out of your name because you don't run from anybody. I like that. It's like, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not. Yeah, I don't run either. I would wheel everywhere.
It's stuck. It's stuck. You know.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, for those of you guys that, for those of you guys that don't know, I don't run either.
Oh man. So I want to start it off. I usually start off by asking people, how did they fall in love with magic? Like, what was your first experience with magic? How did you get into it, to where you are today?
Okay, I think a fairly typical way, like I got into it when I was a kid, and I had these magic sets that you buy, and there's some really, really good effects. Have you ever seen the one where you stretch a piece of elastic over a coin? And it wraps around, and then you put like a rubber band around a glass, and then you say, "Hey, watch this," and it visually melts through it because it looks exact. And the reactions I got, they were like, "Fred," and things that people say. This is why I think as imposter syndrome is quite high in the magic community. Is they say, "How did you do that? You're getting so good at magic. You're getting so good at magic," and you're like, "Well, if you knew how it worked, all I did was stretch the elastic over the coin and rub it." And then people say to me now, like when I perform 6 Pro, one of Lloyd Barnes' recent effects, they'll say, "You're getting so good at magic," and I'm like, "Well, it's kind of self-working, really." So, yeah. Anyway, so that's how I got into magic. It's just like buying magic kits, and then I had a huge, maybe like 20-year hiatus of like not doing any magic. I was into snow sports and downhill mountain biking before I became a little bit more sedentary. And then I got into magic a couple of years ago by doing a David Blaine magic course through the Studio platform. He did it with Assy Wind and another fella, and that was great. I was just like so stoked. Oh, you got some split spades. Oh, nice. Yeah, signed. Yeah. Did you see the video where I recently sent them to another YouTuber?
I did. That's awesome, man. I'm like, man, a lucky guy right there, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you saw that. Yeah, because that was a wholesome bit of content. But yeah, anyway, skipping ahead, I did. I've been doing magic for a couple of years now, and I just since really last summer, I've been pushing myself out there and actually performing. And I started my YouTube channel, the Underperforming Hobbyist, and I spoke about being a collector of magic versus a performer, and it resonated with a bit of a wider audience. So yeah, we can bounce from there if you want.
Yeah, it definitely resonated with a lot of people. I just discovered your channel recently, and my first question was like, how have I not found this channel earlier?
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Well, it's only been going since around about it's less than 6 months now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And you've had some awesome guests on the channel too.
My last live stream was with Reed Ferry. I've had Lloyd Barnes on a few times. I've had Cavan Booth on a couple times. I've collaborated with Rainer from The Other Shuffle. He's a smaller creator, but yeah, super cool dude. Kobe Wilson, another magician from Canada, and now collaborating with you. It's really nice to not just. I mean, there are some like big names and stuff which attract a wider audience, but I think it's just really nice to have a little place in the community and other magicians to like talk with. And yeah, I've got like magicians on WhatsApp now where I can send them little snippets, and they send me videos of like, oh, I went out and did my first gig, and they're kind of like from all the way up from like Lloyd Barnes, like, and Craig Petty to people at underperforming hobbyists that I've met at conventions. One guy, Hugh, he messaged me saying, "Oh, I did my first gig," and he sent me this video, and he was like, "Oh my god, yeah, it was really nerve-wracking." So yeah, it's really cool to not only be a part of the community, but I guess to be a member of the community that has sparked a certain movement of underperforming hobbyists that have sort of spread their wings, performed rather than collecting. And yeah, it's just really cool, man. It happened quite organically, and I'm really proud of myself for it. Actually, it's really nice.
That's sort of why I do these types of conversations like this. They are interviews, but mostly they are just conversations with other people in the community. And honestly, it's become my favorite thing that I do on the channel versus like making tutorials or performing in front of a camera, which I do, but I'm not the biggest fan of. I rather perform in person versus like, oh, let's watch this slide I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah,
imposter
no,
syndrome is a real thing, man. It's crazy.
yeah, it is. I think because, like you say, once you know my magic trick's done, you're like, yeah. So I just literally recorded a YouTube video just a second ago. I've yet to upload it and stuff. But what I spoke about was Crazy Man's handcuffs, right? And when you do this bit, as soon as you say, whenever you say stop, and then you do this, the reaction, I keep forgetting that, because obviously I know the punchline to the joke, right? I know what's happening, but every single time I do it, they're like, "No way!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forget. That's real magic." So
Especially
good.
when you do it with like bands that are the same color, I find it to be like more fooling to the eyes. You can almost see it like
100%.
melt through. It's really weird. I had somebody record me in slow motion. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do that, but I ended up doing it anyway. And the guys swear that it melted through. So I'm like, all right, you got evidence. Good.
It's crazy. It's crazy, dude. So I've started doing. I don't know if you know much about me, but or whatever. But I work at a supermarket.
Right.
I
Okay.
work on the checkout at a supermarket 3 days a week. It's just a little local supermarket, and I've started doing magic in the supermarket. This kid came in recently, and he was like, "Oh, this guy's a sick magician." And I said, "Oh, really? How do you know I'm a magician?" He said, "Oh, you showed me magic the other day. Last summer at the lake." And I completely forgot. But that's when I was like really starting to like push myself out my comfort zone and perform a little bit more. And my friends were like, "Oh, go show those kids some magic. Go on. They speak English," because I live in France. They speak English. Like, you'll be fine. Just go do it. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, do you guys want to see a magic trick?" Really clumsily introduced myself. But he remembered. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you're that sick magician from last year." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So as he came through, I said, "Oh, do you want to see a little something?" I did Crazy Man's handcuffs. And then I just said, this was like how I end it. I was like, "Oh, look, if you watch really carefully, and it just disappears completely, and it ends up back on my wrist." And he was like, "No way!" And he's like, I told you this guy was a sick magician." So like this kid is just like buzzing, right? And I've started to do it more in the supermarket, and I've sort of been asking myself, what sort of magician do I want to be? As you know, I got offered a paid gig recently, and that involves me approaching strangers, but like doing magic in the super, like little bits of magic in the supermarket when people are coming through, like when it's quiet, it like really fills me up, dude. It's like people are just in the supermarket, because I live in a tourist town, so a lot of people are on holiday, and they're like, "Oh, no way, the guy at the guy on the checkout showed me a magic trick, and it blew my mind." So yeah, magic in unusual circumstances is something that I think is just really cool, man. Just like magic anywhere just fills me up. But yeah, magic at the supermarket is my latest thing that I've been really enjoying.
So have you gotten any video of like, or is that just something that you do while you're at work?
No, I haven't videoed it. No, I mean technically it could probably be on the security cameras, but I'm not going to go asking my boss for it or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. I know I saw that you had the video with the meta glasses. Maybe if somebody were walking around with
Mm,
those meta glasses, kind of catching you perform, that'd be cool.
that would be cool. Yeah. I mean, I've got other videos of me performing. I did a set recently, which was kind of random. I thought it'd make a really good idea for a YouTube video. I did a full like half an hour set, which wasn't even, I
Oh
say a
yeah, I
set.
saw
It
that one.
wasn't. No,
I
no. So
believe.
it was doing. It was completely with my phone, so it was all app magic. But I didn't mean to do it. I just only had my phone with me, and I had my Meta glasses, so I did. is quite fast and loud, and I prefer a much more patient presentation. So I ended up
Right.
doing literally about half an hour of magic with the Meta glasses on, and it was all from my phone. It was all, and not what really surprised me, and what I thought would be a good angle for a magic video would be the fact that I did half an hour's worth of magic all on my phone, and not once did anyone suspect that the phone was in play, or like, not anyone was like, "Oh, it must be the phone. It must be app magic." It all went under the radar. So
I
I
think
think
a
that'd be
lot of
quite a good.
that has to do with like magician's guilt, where we sort of, because we know the method, we sort of feel guilty and like thinking other people are going to know it. I find the same thing happens with marked cards.
Yeah.
But you sort of get the same deal where you just have this weird sort of magician's guilt going on. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. 100%, man. So yeah, the app magic. I think it's a good idea for a video. I just had, because I got so much footage from the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, of every effect, and one of the effects, double feature by David Jonathan.
Double feature, is that
So
has
I'll
a
say to
card
someone,
movies, or which one is
I'll
that? Am
just
I
no,
thinking of a different one?
it's so I'll give you my notes app, and I'll just say, hey, listen, what I want you to do is I want you to think of a famous actor or actress, anyone you like, and just write it down. And when you've done, you can show. So for example, I did it with my friend called Andrew, and I was like, show your girlfriend, show people around, and when they've done it, it's like, all right, there's no way that I could possibly know what person you're thinking of, and he's like, no, there's no way. I was like, well, interestingly enough, the note that I gave you wasn't empty, so when you scroll down, I wrote something on it before I even gave it to you, and he wrote down, he's like, you will choose someone who starred in the Terminator, and he's chosen Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he hasn't even spelt it correctly, right? And he's like, no way. He's like, what the hell? How did you know that? He's like, how the hell did you know that? I said, well, it's interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but when I gave my phone to you, I don't know if you noticed what was on the background. And then I go to the lock screen, and there's a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger on the lock screen. And he's like, what? No way. And then you sort of lean into the pseudo explanation of like, well, I think I might have I've been subtly influencing you since we started. And he's like, shit, I didn't even notice that. And yeah, it's a very, very, very cool feature. But sometimes I think it's too strong. It's like, when you reveal it's on the background of your phone, people are like, there must be some sort of AI at play. There must be some sort of, there's no way you could have done that. It's too impossible. And spoiler alert, it is too impossible. And AI does help achieve that. But there's it's a very, 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 very cool effect. And yeah, and this particular time, I do get good reactions from it. But this particular time, he was just like, "That's amazing!" It's like, I can't believe you did that. And I got all the whole reaction with the Meta glasses, and it's a very, very cool, very, very cool feature.
Now, I love that idea, right? The idea of psychologically, subtly influencing you ahead of time to choose something like that. That concept of magic, I absolutely love.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk to Stevie Baskin, the guy that you spoke to, because he was talking about like meta deception. And
Right.
another word for like meta deception is like pseudo explanation. And that's kind of like what I like leaning into. And I thought his video, that 5-hour video that he did, was utterly fascinating. I spent so long not wanting to watch it because I watched his first two. I don't know if you saw that he had like 2 other videos, which he took down, and then he redone the whole 5-hour one. But he expressed himself a lot better in the big long 5-hour one, and it really honestly convinced me to his way of thinking a little bit. And I was like, oh, you know what, that's well articulated, it's well presented. And some of the best bits I found, I was like, he was quite giddy when he was watching Oz Perlman, for especially the bit where Oz does the serial number reveal from the banknote. And he's just like, wow, you've got to remember the number, you've got to order the cards. And as Stevie's watching this, he's just like, oh my God, he's just like, this guy is like in the absolute element. And I'm thinking, wow, you're sort of critiquing this guy, but I think you might be a secret fanboy as well. So that's why I really wanted to have a conversation with him, because there was a real mixture of emotions when, like, when you're watching that video. I think he was really admirable of the skill set that Oz has, even though he is essentially a performer. And there's that level of meta deception, like that pseudo explanation. I like people saying, "Oh, you must have influenced me from the start," but then he does make a really good point, I think, of saying, well, if that is like a cultural belief that that sort of subliminal messaging is that effective, then that could have a negative impact. So I could genuinely like steelman his point of view, and I'm like, oh yeah, I see that.
for thousands of years, we've had people that claim to be psychics, and I don't think it had that much of a negative impact. Besides these people getting scammed, you know, you know,
Mm.
there's that. So I mean, culturally, how big of a negative impact is it really making? I don't know. Especially if you're expecting to hire someone to come and perform. I mean, you're paying them to perform as an entertainer. So I mean, there's that too. So and the
I
funny thing about talking to him is I agreed with a lot of his points. He at the end there, he just sort of seemed to get like really upset with me questioning after a while, and if I were to disagree with anything. That was the bad part about the interview. Like I hadn't really experienced that interviewing people, so I had to keep my cool at the
mhm.
same time as speaking with him. So it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think you guys just got lost in the weeds at the end there, and I think he got a bit fed up and was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna quit it. I don't think he was getting his point across. But either way, I think he's a fascinating character, and I really like him. To be honest, that's why I wanted to chat to him myself actually, because he's just I don't know. I just genuinely resonated with the video. I had like conflicting feelings, and I'd love to sort of express them to the creator of the video and say, "Hey, listen, you actually challenged a lot of my beliefs when you made that video." Because I'm actually a really big fan of Oz Perlman. So when someone
Right.
critiques and also exposes the method, I have this sort of I'm acknowledging my bias. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't like this. Like I'm against this because I like mentalism. I think the secrets should stay. But at the same time, he's actually making a very, very convincing point, and he's really sort of persuading me to his point of view. So these contradictory beliefs, I'm like, oh wow, what a fascinating discussion I think I could have with that fella. So yeah,
I would definitely reach out to him whenever you get a chance and talk to him, see
I
if he'll
think I
come
will do.
on.
Yeah. You make a good point about the psychics though, because when people claim to be psychic, it's yeah, I don't really believe in that either. Do you know how Kevin Booth? I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Booth, the
I
magic
am.
creator,
Yeah.
right? So he has a show called The Honest Psychic, where he says to people, he's like, "I'm going to pretend to read your mind," and then like mid sort of reading, he'll be like, "Are you thinking sort of like, is it this big, this big? Tell me when to stop." And then he'll just say, "By the way, this is complete pantomime, by the way," and then he'll just carry on. So he'll just like break the fourth wall, and it was really jarring for some people because he's giving them a reading, but then immediately he just says, "Oh, this is complete bullshit. This is nonsense, by the way. Just as a reminder, this is all pantomime." And then he'll just go completely back into the theatrics of it, which I think is very cool, man. Like it's a very honest approach. Again, it's called The Honest Psychic, but I think that's
I love
something
that because
worth
it's sort of
exploring.
it's like the break of character. You know what I mean? He's breaking character while performing, and I don't necessarily think that it's wrong for somebody to have a character, saying that they in while they're in character performing, saying that they have these abilities, or even for somebody to say, "Oh, I'm muscle reading you to see which card it is," or whatever it is. There's so many different um, sort of false explanations out there that you can utilize. Um, you know, Body reading is real to a certain extent. Obviously, you can't read people's minds by reading their body language or anything like that. Um, but to kind of dismiss it as just complete pseudoscience, I don't think is accurate. Um, there's some truth to it. Where we have people who, uh, you know, even law enforcement, FBI, CIA, all use body language experts while doing an interrogation, for example. That's not to say that it's
Mm.
fully reliant on the body language experts or that it's fully reliant on the lie detector test, which can be faulty as well. But I think there's something there. And that's probably why
Yeah.
in the zeitgeist of people in their mind, in the back of their minds, that, oh, this is something that exists. Maybe this is what he's doing. So I see it as personal character building, but if somebody has a different opinion, that's okay too.
100%. I think to sort of continue your point, when people use body language, I know that there's some CIA experts that have sold books about body language. Joe Navarro was one. I read that book, really good. There's different ways to tell if people are being shifty, like lying and stuff like that. But for me to like read your body language and tell you what card out of 52 in the deck that you're thinking of is is a bit much, right?
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
So I think And also, I think his other point was really valid about the deceptive marketing for Oz's book. I've actually, in full disclosure, I started listening to it on audio because I find Oz Perlman fascinating. I think you can learn someone from someone at the top of their game, and he really is at the top of his game at the moment. You know, he's probably the world's best known
Sure.
mentalist at the moment, right? So he performed for the president. You know, he's very, very, very talented. A very talented guy, right? As much as, you know, every magician uses methods, and you can say, you know, he's not a real mind reader. Absolutely, fair critique. But as talent goes, and like, you know, he's extremely. So what I thought was really interesting about his book is that he does say, you know, I'm not like me teaching you what card someone's going to be thinking of is not a very useful skill, but what I can teach you is the things that surround my success and how I managed to get to that way. So you and I could easily tell.
If you look at the actual method, right? I mean, it's not going to be useful if you know the actual method. You know, it's besides entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So that part is true. You just have to kind of understand. So I can see it from like a layman's point of view. They wouldn't understand that, but from a magician's point of view, we do understand that it's not useful in everyday occurrence, right?
Exactly.
Right.
But so, for example, you and I could easily tell a spectator what card that they're thinking of, right? There's so many different methods that we could reveal a thought of card, right? But that's not going to help you or I be Oz Perlman, right? The people that want success in life, to climb the ladder, to be sociable, he teaches those skills, which is, I guess, it's kind of like adjacent to a modern how to win friends and influence people. And I've often said, like, even on my channel, a book that every magician should read is How to Win Friends and Influence People, because it's got so many valuable insights into how to just be personable and just be likable, and, you know, how to influence people, you know, and just, you know, if you wanted to approach people for stand-up magic, or sorry, close-up magic, you could, that book would help so much. And he just kind of repackages it. And you could say that it's deceptively marketed because he's a mentalist and it says how to read your mind. Or you could say it's fucking brilliantly marketed because it draws that, it's in that gray area of like, you know, I'm a mentalist, but I'll teach you how I became the world's best mentalist. You know, like, I'll teach you the secrets of my success because, you know, within reason, not that I think Oz is a very talented performer. You and I could repeat the same effects, but there's no way that, you know, we would have the confidence or charisma to do it at such a high level without a certain skill that Oz possesses. You know what I mean? That we don't. There's a certain je ne sais quoi that he's got, and I think that is the secret sauce in his book. So I think it's got a lot of value. But I completely see Stevie's point of like, it's, you know, you're selling snake oil.
Yeah. I mean, it could definitely be misinterpreted. I've spoken to Pig Cake, who has read the entire book, and he tells me that it's more along the lines of a self-help book than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you could say, well, that's deceptively marketed. And I'm like, well, you could say that. Yeah, absolutely. And
I mean, I agree to that to a certain extent. I mean, he does kind of give a disclaimer saying, hey, you know, we're not going to teach you to read minds. You know, this is everything else surrounding mentalism, I guess you could say, but not mentalism. So, I mean, but I can see how people, especially laymen, how laymen could get confused, you know, in that type of marketing, for sure.
100%, man. 100%. So yeah, anyway, like I say, I think that Stevie Baskin is a really fascinating character, and I'd love to sit down and chat with him. That's why I was really fascinated. I was like, oh, no way. When I saw that you were interviewing him, I was like, oh, I tuned in straight away. I listened to that one, the whole thing. Yeah. It's a shame I kind of went into a bit of a car crash at the end, but yeah, I think that was just you guys just weren't communicating very well.
Yeah. I think after a while, we just both sort of got frustrated. I mean, there was a certain point where he was calling the people in the comments stupid, or saying that they were making a stupid point, where I'm along the lines of everybody's, you know, entitled to their own opinion. Everybody can have an opinion, whether you disagree with it or not. And it got very frustrated towards the end. And yeah, I tried.
These things happen, man. Anyway, what time? You're in Puerto Rico, right?
Florida, actually.
Oh, Florida. I could have swore when you were on the my geography is well off. I thought Puerto Rico was the other side, but am I pronouncing that right? Puerto Rico?
Yeah. The funny part is I am Puerto Rican, so but I live in Florida right now. I'm
Oh,
originally
because
from New
I
York.
think. Oh, right.
Yeah, but I live in Florida and I'm Puerto Rican. So you got everything. Are you doing mentalism on me right now? Oh
I
man, you're trying to get me. You've been watching too much
I was
Fairy
listening. I
Reed,
was
right?
Yeah, yeah. I was listening to your one
Excuse
with
me.
pig cake, and I thought that you said that you were from. I thought that you said that you were in Puerto Rico because you were like comparing guns at some point. Just
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
American. It's wild.
yeah. We
Yeah, yeah.
it's very American. I want to see this. That one right there, not too far away.
That's wild, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like sometimes when like because we have the police. Well, obviously we have the police here, right? But I live in Europe, right? I live in France, and guns just don't exist on the streets. Like no one owns a gun here. But when the police come in and they're strapped, and I'm like, fucking hell, it's a gun. I'm like, Jesus, like that. It fills me with adrenaline just seeing one. I'm like, Jesus, that's a real, Um, I don't know. It's just so. It's culturally we're so different. We speak the same language, but Americans are very very culturally different. Like
For sure.
I
I
don't want
think
to
the
derail the
differences
conversation
is
away from magic.
what makes the interaction between different cultures so beautiful, though. Like
Mm,
if you think it's an adrenaline rush. I remember the first time I went to go shoot. Now that was an adrenaline rush, right? Uh, good times, good times. If you ever make your way down to
yeah, I guess,
Florida
but
for any reason whatsoever,
yeah.
I will take you to the range.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot a gun before, like in Thailand, and I can't. Yeah, I mean, I had a BB gun, like I've had an air rifle. Yeah, these airsoft guns. They look
Yeah,
pretty realistic, but yeah, the fact that I don't know, it's just something that just scares me about them. That like when you just see one, because like they're so rare, and then when you see one in real life, and you're just like, holy shit, like you could shoot someone with that, and
like a
um,
unicorn.
it's just kind of like a unicorn, right? So, like I say, there's not. Like, I live in a place where there's very little crime. Like, I don't lock my front door. I don't lock the car door when I go out. It's very very safe. It's very touristy, very nice, and we don't see that many police either. But when the police come in and they're strapped, and I'm like, whoa. Anyway, I feel like I'm derailing the conversation away from magic. It's
No,
just
no,
because when
no.
I saw
Hey,
you in Pig
listen.
Cake,
Like I told you, this is an impromptu conversation. I love talking about stuff like this. So for me, the Second Amendment is something that's very important to me, being an American. Whoop, whoop, as I've seen here there in the comments. Yeah, I'm a big firearms enthusiast, and they have to be respected. And I think that's where the fear comes from because they are deadly. Um, we have the
yeah,
right to protect ourselves and defend ourselves in any way seen possible. Because it, I mean, I also live in a good neighborhood. We still lock the doors. That's just our thing. That's our thing over. I'm from New York, so I'm gonna lock my doors anyway, no matter what. I don't know. There's people down south
yeah, yeah,
here that they don't lock their doors, but I'm so used to it. I'm all locked up, cameras, all that stuff. But uh, you know, the police will take time to arrive if you call. That is precious time that something
yeah.
could happen. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather not need it and have it than have it and not need it. That's how I look at it.
Do you, do you have kids?
Yes, I do. That's one of the number one
Yeah.
reasons to have something like that around. And I have a daughter. She's 7, going to be 8 soon. And she has undergone somewhat firearm training in terms of like safety. I've tested her. I've had empty firearms around right next to like the television remote, ask her to go get that. She would just completely ignore it because I've already instilled that type of training in her brain that, hey, that's not for me. I'm a child.
Okay.
Still,
It's
it's
just it's just
important to
it
keep them
again. This is a really
away.
it's a cultural thing. But you, when I brought up the thing that you and Pig Cake were talking about guns, you literally just was like, oh, what you mean this? It's just like I'm like, what you
So
have?
common, right?
Is it? I'm assuming it's loaded, and I'm assuming you have kids in the house. I mean, I don't know if your daughter invites friends around. I don't know. It just like again, it's a cultural thing. Just so
Well,
fucking foreign to me to have
I
this
have
deadly
most of
weapon
my
around. Just
stuff.
like, oh, what you mean
Well,
this?
I
It's
mean,
just yeah,
to explain, because there's a big cultural difference. Most of the time I have it on my body. Right now I'm at home, so it's somewhere I can grab easily, but it's either usually on my body or most of my other ones are put up and put away. So nobody can get to them except for me. Now, though, I do keep one on my person all the time just in case I need it. And that's kind of how I operate. And I think that's one of the safer ways to do it, because if it's on your body 24/7, nobody else can access it but you, then that's the safest way to have.
That's just so utterly foreign to me, dude. I carry my phone, my AirPods, my sunglasses. I've got this is I don't normally wear this, but this is my dog whistle because when I take the dog for a walk. But to carry a big bulky firearm with me, like
Yeah.
Jesus, man, that's
I'm a
at
little
all times,
abnormal with
24/7.
it because a lot of people, they'll carry something a little smaller and compact. I carry full size, 18 plus one in the chamber. So it's a big old heavy thing. And I've got a whole rig and set up to carry that around with me. And it's not for everybody, trust me, because it's heavy, it's bulky. You got to keep, aware that you have it on you and all that type of stuff. So it's it's definitely not for everybody. But if you have a family that you want to protect in case of any scenario, then uh, and not just your family, but other people that you see out and about that you may be in danger, and you want to de-escalate a situation or whatever that is. It's good to have.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move away. Let's talk about magic. And do you know any magic tricks that involve guns?
Do I know any magic tricks that involve guns? No, but I have intermingled the two. I mean, fun fact, I shot a deck of cards with my AR, and that was pretty cool because it left the bullet holes right through it. That was pretty interesting, and I kept that as a little souvenir.
You have an AR. Well, okay, we're getting derailed here, but like
It's going right back. You're like, let's get away
that's
from it, and it
fucking
goes
wild.
loops right back into it. Yeah,
That's wild.
I'll
That's
send
wild.
you
That's
I'll
quite
send you the
that's
pics here when we're done with this. So you can see my little setup that I got.
all right. Cool. Oh, let me ask you a question. Can you show me a magic trick?
Can I show you a magic? I most certainly can. When you told me you were like, we're going to exchange magic tricks, I'm like, oh God, I hate virtual magic because it's so, like I told you earlier, I like to do stuff in person. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to do the same old stuff I always do. So I came up with something new, or new-ish.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, get a deck of cards. I got my handy dandy deck of cards here.
I'm very
Um,
excited.
yeah, me too. So I don't know how you wanna play it or whatever. Just a regular pack of cards here. Um, do you
Looks good.
huh?
Looks
What?
good.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
said
gonna
it looks
actually
good.
I'm gonna actually put these up, and just wanted to I'm gonna keep them in view though, okay? Do me a favor, hold your hands out like this. Okay, interesting. I want you to put some fingers down on each hand. Any combination you like, just put some whatever you want. What is that? Is that 3 and a 3?
A
Is
three and a
that
three.
3 and a 3? Okay, check this out.
Three and a three.
All right, check this out. Look, take the cards. Yep. Lost some cards here. Come on, get out of there. 3 and 3. So we're gonna count out these cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33. Now, I want to show you before we get to this,
Oh,
you could have landed at the 5 of clubs, you could have landed at the jack of diamonds, but you said 33. You could have had any combination of fingers. If you would have had 2 different numbers, I would have said, do you want, like if you would have had 32, I would have said, do you want 32 or 23? You could have switched it up. But You chose what you chose.
Okay.
Did you feel influenced at all?
No, I think that was pretty fair.
I subliminally influenced you, and this is something we were talking about earlier, which is really funny part. Because if you look here, you landed exactly at the King of
I knew
Spades,
it.
and if you look right up
I knew
behind
it, and
you,
it's behind you. Yes.
the King of Spades.
I knew that was going to be that one, dude. That was brilliant. Well done. Yeah, yeah. Love that. That's sick. Because I noticed that King of Spades up there earlier, and I was like, dude, if that's the King of Spades, that's going to be sick. So, yeah, well done. Well done. Yeah, yeah. Bravo, my friend. Bravo. That was very, very good. I like that a lot.
Oh, also, the cards can be inspected too. They're just regular old cards. Every card is different as
I
well.
believe you, dude. You don't need to oversell it. I loved it. I loved it. That was great. That was fantastic.
Who would have known?
Say again?
I said, who would have known? Who would have known that you would have chose that?
That was really good. Like I noticed the King of Spades up there earlier on when we were talking, and I thought, I wonder if that's always there. You know, I hadn't noticed it in other videos, but they're very cool. As soon as you said there's a card, and I was like, we haven't agreed on a card beforehand. I was like, it's going to be the King of Spades. It's going to be the King of Spades. Bravo! I loved it, and that's subliminal influence. I love it.
Exactly.
Right on brand with the conversation we were having before. Yeah, loved it, man. Loved it. Well done.
Do you have something for me, my friend?
Do I? Do you know what, dude? I feel a little bit embarrassed. I'm a little bit unprepared. I do have a magic trick, but it's kind of like a bit of a lame one. But have you seen this one? Actually, I'm just going to show it to you because it's. Do I have something a bit better than this?
Show me whatever you do.
We'll
all
just
the
go with
time.
this.
I kind of just came up with this last week, and I started like testing it and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that seems to work. I want to talk to you about that off camera, and I'll tell you exactly what I did and how I did it.
I'm just going to show you this. I feel like this is a bit of lame because it's a bit of a self worker, but I really like it. But have you ever seen the movie Big?
Yes, long time ago. Yes,
with
yes.
Tom Hanks.
Zoltar.
Yeah. So do you remember Zoltar?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoltar. This is I don't even know how this works. This is crazy, right? But it's a mind reading deck, and Zoltar says, think of a card.
Okay, I've got one locked in.
Not the Joker.
Not the Joker. Okay, name your card. You want me to name it right now?
Name your card. Yeah.
The Two of Hearts.
The Two of Hearts. He says, I knew you would say that. He says, no, really. Let's check this out. I love it, right? We're going to get these cards out. We're going to find your card. I'm going to try and keep them in shot. The Two of Hearts. The Two of Hearts is right there, okay? And we're going to, where can I put this? Right, I'm going to get my water bottle here. Okay, I'm going to pop this down just here, right? Okay. So your card is right here. Can you see it? Interestingly enough, look, you could have picked any of these cards and they all have red backs, but Zoltar knew that you were going to pick this card because he left his mark on the back of it.
You know, it's funny because I have an idea of how it works, but I'm not sure. So you definitely fooled me with that because
really?
I don't have that trick and I don't know how it works.
Oh, it's very cool. Yeah, we can talk about it off camera. I can just tell you now, but it's so cool. I love it because it's I guess it's kind of similar to the invisible deck, as in like it's you can pick any card and that card is different, but it's a different principle. It doesn't use rough and smooth, but it's very, very cool. It's such a I don't usually buy like gaff decks that are just like one trick ponies, but this one really spoke to me just because I love the little story and the way it's printed on the box. And you know, JS Magic, obviously you probably know JS Magic, but he does this one where he did a review and I was like, oh, you know what? It's quaint, it's cute, it's got a little story, everything's self-contained. And I like using the line, I don't even know how this works. It just happens to work every time. I don't even know what card you're going to pick, but Zoltar knows. And and then yeah, that card just happens to be different from the rest of the pack, and it's
I
very cool,
like that.
man.
I might have to pick that up.
It's
I
I think it's quite an adorable little trick. Yeah.
it's funny when you were, when your channel came out now, because I was watching. I haven't gotten all the way through all of your videos, but I've gotten probably more than half. And the common theme of collecting like this. I have a case here that is like all just magic, different magic decks and all kinds of stuff here that I've collected over the years. And it's not the stuff that I use like all the time, because I have um, pretty much have like a little to go bag here with all this like the stuff that I would actually perform. So I have a collection of stuff that I don't use all the time, which kind of made me very, very much relate to you and your story of collecting magic, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. Um, Tell me, let me flip the script. How did you get into magic?
I got into magic originally. I want to say it was back in '97 when I first saw David Blaine's Street Magic special, which they would
Mm.
air, and then they would air. They would air it a couple of times, and I remember every time it was on, I'm just like, please, nobody use the TV. I gotta watch this. And so I fell into
Mm.
to love with magic there. A little bit later, he had other specials come along. But a little bit later, I found a book at my school that was self-working mental magic, and I picked that up, and I found an effect in there, and I learned how to do it, which is so funny. It was like the 10 to 15 force, right? Self-working stuff. And ever since
Mhm.
then, I'm like, oh, I can do this too. This is something that I can also do. So I had that little
Mhm.
idea planted. And then I performed a little bit more as I got older into high school, and then it dropped off completely until
Mm.
my wife got pregnant. And then for some reason, I picked the hobby back up, and I've been on it ever since. So the past 7, almost 8 years, maybe a little longer, somewhere else.
Nice. So, are you a performer?
Yeah, but I'm more of a hobbyist, which is funny
Oh,
because
really?
I do perform. I do like street magic stuff. I'll do walk around at parties and stuff like that. I've done a few gigs here and there, but nothing like big. I'm currently writing a show, but that's always going through like these changes. So I mean, I work a lot of hours. I work like 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So between that and balance of family and everything else, I haven't had time to focus on like, becoming a performer per se, besides what I do on the normal for the channel or if I'm doing walk around or whatever. So more along the lines of a hobbyist, honestly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. So, do you resonate with the underperforming hobbyist theme?
I do, and that's why I sent you that meme because that was like something that popped up in
Yeah,
my head.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, this is funny. This is how I feel. So I had to send you that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool, dude. I'm so glad that that resonates. It's wild how much that resonates throughout the community. But so
What
you,
was your
so do you get paid? Are you a paid performer?
I mean, I've been paid before. Like I've only done like 3 gigs before. Most of the time, I perform
Yeah,
for free. Honestly, just for the excitement, the thrill of going out there, seeing people smile. So I don't
yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot of time. I have to be very cautious with how much time I spend. Uh, my wife loves my attention. Let's just put it like that. So I
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if you struggle with that, but so I have to be cautious with my time and how much time I'm out there. Spending performing for random people, paid or not.
yeah, yeah. No, I get that. So, what's your full time job, if you don't mind me asking?
I manufacture juice. So I manufacture, test,
Juice.
and yeah, juice. Believe it or not, juice. So if you see products like Arizona tea or Good to Grow or I don't want to say the company's name, but let's say orange juice. I manufacture a lot of that stuff, and I manufacture it, test it, and all that fun stuff. Make sure that the acid,
No way.
pH, and all that's in spec. Yeah. So it's like half
Oh,
of
cool.
it's a
So,
physical job, physical forklift job, and then the other half is more along the lines of like laboratory testing and all that stuff. So
No way. So you work for a company, or is it your own company that like uh, just
no,
manufactures
I work for a
juice?
company, yeah, that manufactures shoes.
Yeah. No way. That's really interesting, man. I did not know that. And then you do magic on the side. Yeah, I think I was
It's a
just
lot less interesting
thinking
than
earlier.
saying.
Well, I mean, it's new, right? I don't really know too much about it. I'm sure it's interesting. I'm sure there's a novelty to it that that's probably worn off. But I think it's quite interesting. I don't know that much about it. But what was I going to say? The so I think what so I'm trying to figure out what sort of magician I want to be, right?
Right.
And I when I said on my last video about like approaching strangers, you know, and it's sort of what how did I put it? Like I was spending my energy convincing people to watch magic. I'm not sure that's what I want to do, you know. I prefer like a little more of a captive audience. That sort of resonates with me a little bit more. So being a hobbyist, that means I can do magic on my own terms, right? If I'm a paid magician, I have to go up and approach people to do magic, right? And I have an enormous amount of respect for those people that do that job. But on reflection, I'm not 100% convinced that's what I want to do. Is I love magic, right? But I don't ever want money to be the reason why I fall out of love with magic. You know, I'm not sure I want my job to be magic. I quite
I
like the
sort of agree with that.
being a hobbyist. But at the same time, there's a gift and a curse to being a hobbyist, right? You don't have to perform magic for anybody, but at the same time, you don't have to perform magic to anybody. So it's like, you know, you have the freedom to perform whenever you want, but you also have nothing to hold you accountable, and that's why the underperforming hobbyist resonates with so many people, because they're like, oh, you know, I would, you know, ideally, all we want is just a captive audience that's just like, hey, show me magic, you know, and you'd be like, oh, absolutely, I've got magic, oh my god, I could do a magic gig every day for 7 days, and you wouldn't see the same trick twice, right? It'd be amazing. But instead, we're forced with the problem of not having an audience, and like having to get an audience is you know the hardest thing, right? So yeah, that's some. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to discover the type of magician I want to be, and I'm not sure it's the sort that interrupts people at parties. You know what I mean?
I think for you, something that would work really well. There's a place over here in Tampa. There, it's called the Magicians at the Table, and it's a bunch of tables where it's sort of like a restaurant type setting where it's a bunch of tables, and each magician is sat at a table and performs for the audience while they eat. And I think that would be a perfect type of idea or setting for you. And I know somebody that performs
Mm,
there. I need to get him on. His name's Orlando. Um, and
nice.
when I wanted to ask him some questions about it, because I don't know a lot beyond what I just told you, but it just seems like a really cool setting. I'd like to go visit sometime.
That sounds like the perfect circumstance for magic. You know, the perfect
Because you know, when you
setting,
said captive
congruent
audience,
with.
that's exactly what I thought of.
Mm. Yeah, man. So you know DMC, right? Drummond Money Coots. His
Yes,
channel
yes.
is incredible, and for me, he is on a different level. His magic is classy. You know, I feel like it's you know, sometimes magic is loud and
The
fast, but
drip,
his is
bro,
like
the drip
patient.
this guy has.
Oh, it's elegant, it's story driven, it's smooth. That guy is such a smooth criminal, man. It just oozes charisma, and everything is just so patient and lovely. And he's got this little routine called Harry Houdini's Vanishing Elephant. I don't know if you've seen that particular routine, but it is
I don't think
amazing. It's got so many different beats. It's so patient. It's so there's a story behind everything, and everything comes together at the end so perfectly. It is there's a phenomenal bit where he keeps referencing the vanishing elephant, and about 11 seconds before it disappears, he just says, and remember, the vanishing elephant is watching everything. And then there's so much misdirection, and then they're like, and then he comes back round to it and he says, and I present to you for the final beat of the trick, the vanishing elephant. And everyone's like, yo, what the fuck, where did it go? It's so good. It's so good. He's such a great performer, and I think that's the sort of magician I want to be. That's really the sort of magician I want to be. But that's the sort of audience I'd love to have. Just sat
I
around,
agree.
just
And he does that
yeah,
table like type of performance too. Every
yeah.
interaction I've had with Drummond has been a great interaction with him. I've spoken to him a couple of times. I've never had a bad
Oh,
interaction
really?
with him. He seems like a cool guy. I would love to interview him sometime, but he's
Have you
kind
had
of
him on
hard
the
to get a hold
channel?
of. I have not, but I'm planning to
Oh,
try it.
that's cool.
I sent him a message. I just recently got him into my group. I have a Facebook group that is um, very specific to specific type of playing cards that I love. If you catch my drift,
Okay.
and he is
Hmm.
part of that group, and I would love to have him on sometime.
Nice. I just want to give you a heads up. I just got a notification saying I've got 5 minutes left for YouTube today. Do you remember I said that I had an issue with screen time on my phone? I had to download the YouTube app. Well, I think I still might have the screen time setting where it's like an hour limit. So I don't know if I can swipe away from YouTube right now, or is that going to like stop us going from
You
live so I
should
can
be able
adjust the
to
setting?
if you need to go in there and fix it. Uh-oh. It's okay. You're back.
All right, that wasn't enough time. I was just checking. Sorry.
Okay, you should
Otherwise,
be
I think it
okay.
might just cut me off.
As long as I stay live, that link should stay live. In case
Cool.
whatever, you should be able to come back.
I'm gonna go and adjust my screen time settings just real quick. Sorry, fill the dead air. I'm sure you'll be good.
I see we have the Russian genius in the comment section. What's up, brother? I would love to have you on the channel too. I'm trying to get at you for a minute now. Let's see here. I'll read some of these comments here. Yes, next gen spawn
Okay,
says like
dude.
Texas is wild out here. Texas is definitely known for their firearms, that's for sure. Do you have a whole deck of those big cards like that? If you're talking about that card up there, no, I had that printed specifically for today's trick. That's it, pretty much. All
I'm
right.
back. I can't.
The,
I can't see the live chat. Can you see the live chat? I can't see the live chat.
it might be in your settings.
Oh well, it doesn't matter. Um, right. So hopefully we won't get cut off in 5 minutes.
Okay, we should be good now.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. So as I was saying, Drummond is a phenomenal magician. I think like he's got something that a lot. I think he's a very unique guy. I've seen very talented magicians, but his level of presentation is on another level. It's so elegant. It's so charming. It's just oozes charisma, and that's and I think that sort of setting lends itself to allow that patient presentation, storytelling. It's just phenomenal. So fingers crossed,
It
I'm going to have
reminds
him.
me of like how performers like Daryl or Darwin Ortiz used to perform, like that type of tabled, relaxed setting where they would get up from the
Yeah,
table when they needed to, or they would sit down and perform at the table when they needed to. Like that type of setting, I think is very good. I like it.
yeah. No, absolutely. It's and that's so I have performed at catered. So my girlfriend is a private chef, right? So she caters for people, and I live in the French Alps. So people come here and they normally rent chalets. So they, you know, the type of gigs that I performed at is I'm at the head of the table. Everyone's there. My girlfriend's cooking them dinner, and everyone's just waiting for dinner to arrive. And I'm there performing magic for like 30, 40 minutes. And I have a completely captive audience, and I love it. That is, it's very similar to how Drummond does his thing. Sometimes there's kids, it's not quite as elegant and smooth, but I do like to, it gives me an opportunity to present things in a very patient way and lean into the storytelling. I like
Right.
story driven things, and like his birthday cards trick. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
So
great.
good,
Beautiful.
so good. The whole story about the
I
cards,
love your
and
story as well as getting the little girl's information ahead of time, like little
mm,
things like that. So, I mean that type of pre-show, beautiful. Love it.
thanks, man, because that's what I said it in the video, but they said that was my favorite trick because you never even touched the cards. I don't know how you got the cards to change. You didn't even know her birthday until about 2 seconds ago, and I turned the cards over myself, which means, and she just couldn't compute. And I am a firm believer of the best magic doesn't have to be the most fooling magic; it has to be the most entertaining magic. But this one was both. It was like personal to them. It was their little girl's birthday, and it was utterly impossible. And the whole story as well, the whole beautiful story of.
Uh-oh, I may have lost you. Are you back?
I turned off the limit and it cut me off anyway. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have bothered. Never mind.
It's okay.
I didn't realize I could just like ignore the limit when the pop up came up. But yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite effects, and like his presentation really helped me make that moment for them.
Now,
And like
there's something you said that I found to be really important, and I want to see if you would talk about that a little bit. The magic doesn't have to be that fooling for it to be strong, right? Or am I
firm believer.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. It doesn't have to be. I think entertaining magic is stronger than fooling magic.
Right. Like
I think that's where
perform full. I'm okay with sleight of hand, but I also perform a lot of self-working magic, and they'll get the same reaction. The audience doesn't know. It's because they don't know the trick. They know the effect, right? They know
exactly
what it creates in their mind.
100%, man. 100%. I couldn't agree more. I think that's where a lot of magicians go wrong. They think that it's got to be the most fooling. For example, there's an effect. Well, I haven't bought a new magic trick in a long, long time since starting the channel. In fact, I sort of had to hold myself accountable. I'm like, oh, are we just collectors of secrets? I'm like, well, I have to stop collecting tricks if I'm not going to perform with them. I've got enough. But I recently bought Bankable by Trick Boom. Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
So it's a bank night effect. You get 4 envelopes, and you say, "Oh, I want you to win." So you could pick any one of these colored envelopes. They're brightly colored. You pick whatever, and I say, "Oh, look, this is what I really wanted you to win." And it comes out and it says, "Give Fred a high five." You know, like, hey, that's the best trick. And then you turn over all the other envelopes, and they've all got money in them. So like $100 bills. And you're like, money can't buy happiness. And then you say, do you want to give it another go? And they say, yeah. And I say, go on then, high five, way. And it gives a good laugh. So it's not the most fooling trick. Like and a lot of people say, oh, it's obvious. The method is obvious. And I'm like, well, number one, I don't think the method is obvious. And number two, who cares? Like, it's a laugh. You're getting a laugh. And like, as a magician, you got to realize that we're entertainers, right? As well as magicians. Yeah. And if you're going to get a good laugh, and if you're going to be like, oh shit, like, and at the same time, like, he really risks that right there, because some people will be like, what if I picked any of the others? He'd have had to give me €100, right? And they would have probably thought in their mind, oh, there's no way he risks giving $100 out to someone every time he performs this trick. So there must be some sort of trick to it. They do believe that they're experiencing magic, but it's entertaining first. Fooling is further down the list, and I think that is that's overlooked by a lot of magicians. And
you hit the nail on the head. You need to be an entertainer before anything else.
Yeah. So when I went to the Alakazam Magic Convention, that was my first ever magic convention, and I was so blown away by the best magicians I saw were the most entertaining, easily. And don't get me wrong, they did some amazing fooling magic. But as magicians, we see through a different lens. I'm like, sponge balls, for example. There was a guy called Wayne Goodman. He had an amazing sponge ball routine. He only used 2 sponge balls and a little girl. But the little girl, she was his patter, his banter was so entertaining. The little girl's reactions was the entertainment, you know. And everyone, dude, I know what a false transfer is, and even I was like, what the fuck, like. In my head, they were disappearing and reappearing, and I was like, "What the hell?" And he would repeat it. He'd do the same trick over and over again. I'd be like, "I still don't see it. I still don't see it."
That's the point, like that I was trying to make during that last conversation I had with Stevie, is that you can watch a magician and you know what they're doing and still be fooled by them and still be entertained as well. Yeah, I love that. There's plenty of people that do that to me all the time.
Dude, I think entertaining, So I got a friend called Hugh who I met at the Alakazam Magic Convention, right? And he recently did his first gig. So he went up to like a black tie event, and he sent me this video. I'll send it to you if you want after this. 7-minute set of like this going around a table, and it was really interesting. This is what I mean, like having to spend your energy convincing people to see magic. And I think certainly there could be constructive feedback on his part, but he did so many tricks in 7 minutes, dude. He did where you shoot the cork off the bottle. He did you shoot the deck and the deck explodes. He did a ring vanish, a ring appearing in a lemon, like mixed with chop. He did so many different bits of magic, and I thought it's almost too much. It's almost too much. But he's kind of like saying, in a way, hey, listen, I know that you guys, you can swipe TikTok and you've got short attention spans, but please keep looking at me. Please keep looking at me. Whereas I think, and there certainly could be something to be said to be having a bit more presence and a bit more commanding attention a little bit more. But he did so much magic, and I feel like the reactions were really quite muted, because I was like, wow, I feel like there was such strong magic in this 7-minute set, but because it was rammed in, it was just people were like, shit. A little bit, yeah. But at the same time, it was his first ever gig. It was like, he was obviously quite nervous. I think he was maybe overcompensating with the amount of tricks that he was showing. But I thought it was, I don't know, again, like, I'll send you the video and we could, you could tell me afterwards. But it was just so interesting to, like, that's what put me off. I was like, these people aren't appreciating the magic, and I feel like there's like I say, I can't, there's something about having a captive audience rather than just like some people that are like, oh, you're interrupting us. This better be good because we were in the middle of a good conversation.
I mean, but that's a pro tip that I hear a lot is slow down. Let the magic sink in. Let everything absorb. Let everyone sort of simmer in it for a moment. Just slow down a little bit. And I think, especially in the beginning stages, that's kind of hard because you want to get to the reactions part so quickly. You want that, but the more you slow down, sometimes it seems to be a lot better.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think that's probably the feedback that I could have given him, but it was just too much, I think. So I saw a very talented magician on stage at the Alakazam convention, and he did essentially 3 tricks, and in about a 40-minute set, right? 3 tricks, but it was more like stand-up comedy than magic. It was thoroughly entertaining. He had these one-liners that were just throwaway gags, but they were just so good. He said, you sir. He said, you look like you drive past the gym. Just like, look, he just had everyone cracked up, and he got him to hold his hand up in the air. It was just for a gag in the end. So he held his hand up in the air with a deck of cards, or I think, no, it was a box. Yeah, an empty box, right? For ages, for like 20 minutes, this guy's hand was in the air, and he brings him up on stage, and he made a ring vanish, right? And you think, oh my God, no way. The ring is in the box. And he also had some Smarties, right? Anyway, after all this, like 20 minutes, right? And you think the ring is going to be in the box. It throws out the box, and there's a Smartie. So it was just like a 20-minute gag for a bit of misdirection. And you're like, And I was just applauding. I was just like, dude, that's better than the ring. I hadn't anticipated that a gag would have been funnier than if the actual ring was in there and then the ring appeared from another sort of ultimately impossible place. But I was just like, bravo. Like, that's actually so much funnier than the impossible, just the gag. It was brilliant.
Gags can be incredibly strong, especially when they're done well. When they're not done well, maybe not so much. They can fall flat, but when they're done well, like there's a magician that I've seen just recently, and he had like a whole almost 40-minute set of him performing in his theater. And he's an older gentleman. I haven't seen him anywhere before. I think his son runs his YouTube channel. So this is all very fresh, very new. And I'm going to send it to you because he is a very good performer. And he, like you said, he's throwing in all these jokes and they're landing. Everything's landing perfectly. And not only that, but he's a very good magician. I saw him do a TNR of like a newspaper TNR. One of the best handling I've ever seen, and it was very well done. Very well
I
done.
think I've seen this. Is this guy called Bargatz or something?
Possibly. I don't want to say for sure because I'm not entirely certain. He's an older gentleman,
Yeah,
right?
like very
Older
quite
guy.
very very old. He had this newspaper, and he was saying about how people don't read the newspaper anymore.
He has a little
Very
bit of a
like the
lisp.
very. What I noticed was his pacing. He was very like deliberately slow. He'd go to rip it, and then he'd say,
Yeah.
"Oh, people don't read the newspapers these days. This is very hard to." And then he'd go to rip it, and then he'd stop, and you'd be like, "What?" And then eventually he rips the newspaper into all these different pieces, and then it
So
just
good.
yeah. I agree. The presentation phenomenal because essentially it's just like you say, a TNR.
You got to watch the
But
full show. It's great.
oh
That guy
yeah,
right there.
okay,
I give him his roses right now because he's great.
excellent. Yeah, I will do, dude, because yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, and I think that's something that we can all learn, like as hobbyists, as people that haven't reached that level, is like slow down, just take your time. If you think you're going too slow, go even slower.
I mean, that's sort of the parallel between like stand-up comedians and magicians. Is well, what do they say? Is timing, right? That's what makes the joke funnier. It's timing, and I think that's what makes the magic
Yeah,
more amazing. Is when you have that perfect timing, and it hits, it clicks. Now, I wanted to ask you,
yeah, yeah.
how do you feel about POV magic, which has been popping up a lot more nowadays, like POV street magic and stuff like that. Of course, you've got your, or I believe you said you're rent or borrowing them from someone, correct? Metas.
Yeah, my friend he asked for them back, but I've got some arriving any day now from China. So
Okay.
Lloyd Barnes sent me the link to some that he had. So very similar pair essentially. So yeah. What do I think about POV magic? I what you mean like the sort of short form content?
Well, not necessarily that, but I just mean magic filmed from like the first person perspective. And I got the clear ones here because I remember we were talking about not being able to
Yeah,
communicate with the
yeah,
eyes and stuff. And I thought that was a great point because that's something I had thought of before purchasing. Um,
yeah.
but
Nice.
also, I also use a couple other setups here, which are pretty cool. Um, so I have the hat cam, and I've not used
Ooh.
these. I haven't done too much walk around with this type of stuff on, but I've got like a little DJI Action 4 that can be placed on the hat, right? And then there's the chest rig. So you put this on, right? You put this on your
Yeah,
chest against your shirt, and you sort of put this on top. The hat cam I found to be a little heavy and cumbersome, so I'm gonna try
yeah,
out
yeah.
the other. I'm gonna try out the chest rig and see if that's any better. But I'm not sure yet because the hat cam does give you that head point of view where you can see your hands well and somebody's face well. So I don't know if the chest rig is going to be as well. I'm gonna try it and see. I'm gonna see.
Nice. Have you used the Ray-Ban Metas as well?
I have like you were talking about. I don't like the 3 minute limitation. Kind of sucks. And then
Mhm.
the video quality is only 3K, and it's only vertical. So I mean, I like them for like short things here and there, but if you're gonna be like out all day performing and you want to catch it on camera, I think that other option might be a little bit better.
Yeah. I the ones that are just or about to arrive any minute. They've got a 12-minute limit, and they record in like a square. Like we're sort of like looking at a
Vento,
square right now, so they're not. Oh, good question. I don't know the exact branding, but they're all very similar. The ones that don't use Hey Meta, they use Hey Cyan. That's
right?
the operating system. So yeah, it's a 1080p. So like you probably are losing. quality there. But essentially, I just want to
Landscape, right?
capture reactions, right? So it's square. So I think it's not portrait or landscape. It's square. So yeah, and it's a 12-minute limit, 1080p. So, and dude, they were €50, €56, including delivery. I was like,
That's
that's
a really good
wild.
price.
So yeah,
I mean, you can't beat that,
yeah.
especially
So
if you
Lloyd sent
have something to throw around and mess with. That's cool.
Lloyd sent me the link, and then Lloyd also sent me a video of him using them. He's like, "Yeah, look, these are great, dude. These like they're way better than the Ray-Bans." He bought the Ray-Bans and sent them back because he didn't get on with them. So we'll see. Like I say, it's no big deal. If they're not that good, I'll order the Ray-Bans and sell them on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, you always do that. It's a good
yeah.
option.
But so the POV magic, like I say, I got some great POV footage from me doing the digital app magic, and it was brilliant, dude. I really enjoy it. So yeah, I like it for capturing it. I like it that it does capture great reactions. I don't think it's a substitute. I like. There's a guy called Benedict. He's got like a long last name. I don't know if I think you might have.
I've
Have you
interviewed
interviewed
him.
him?
Yeah. He's a friend of mine.
He does. Oh, brilliant! Yeah, he does a lot of it, and he's very good. His content's very watchable, very good. I enjoy it a lot. Yeah. So there's a time and a place for it. I've also got when if we're showing off camera equipment, I've also got a cool bit of a kit, which is a 360 cam,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and it goes on here. And like, luckily, because I use a wheelchair, I can clip this to my wheelchair and just have it
Oh,
here.
that's cool.
So if I
Yeah.
just go back a little bit, it clips to the frame, and I can just have it here. So I could be performing magic, and it will capture everything,
Nice.
which is good. But I will admit it's time consuming to edit the 360 footage. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not quite as subtle as the glasses, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think that's where the benefit of having glasses is, right? We're just it's a lot more subtle and I haven't really had any issue if anybody asks, "Oh my, like, is that a camera or anything like that?" I've had them. I've recorded people by accident, just adjusting the glasses, pressing the button by accident, and then I go back and I look.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was recording. So nobody's ever mentioned anything to me as of yet. But my brother has a pair. He said that he's been approached by people asking how all of that works, but I haven't had any issue with it.
Yeah, so you saw my video. The only issue I had with it was you still have to ask people to record. Technically, you don't. You can cover up the LED and just record them. And if you're in a public space, it's legal. But
Right.
I'd personally rather ask them, because mostly I'm like performing to people I know, people around town. But then also I had like a bit of a not really necessarily massively negative reaction. It was just because the girl happened to be wearing a bikini at the time. She was like, "Oh, I'd really rather not," and that made me feel awkward, even though she was in charge of an event called the Awesome Bikini Run. So she like literally she's the poster child for like being filmed in a bikini. But then it was just it's a different dynamic, you know. She's in the park, she's relaxing. I completely understand. I was just like, oh shit, that's, you know, I'm a friend of hers, you know. I felt like if she'd have said yes, it would have been cool. But because she said no, I all of a sudden felt like, fuck, I've got a camera on my face, and I felt a bit awkward. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, I love card magic. I love different types of magic for sure, but I've always had this love and admiration for card magic specifically. If you were to perform a piece of card magic, randomly, someone say, "Hey, yeah, just have a deck of cards. Hey, show me something." What's your go-to?
I'd probably do the thought of card. I could do it right now, but I'll run through the script because the scripting is beautiful. But so I'll say, okay, listen, Brandon, you're familiar with cards, right? If I was to spread a deck of cards, you'd be able to identify all the different cards. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of a card, and I want you to pick up on one. Okay. You strike me as someone who has a lot of intuition. Okay, sometimes maybe you struggle to make effective decisions, but you certainly feel like you have a strong sense of intuition. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Right. So what I want to do is I'm going to try and subtly influence you, and I just want you to just allow yourself to be influenced. Okay. So right now, I just don't want you to think of as any specific card. I just want you to think of red or black. Okay. And just nod your head to let me know when you've got.
I've got it.
Okay. Listen, I want you to trust your intuition and change your mind because I'm going to tell you right now you're thinking of the wrong color. So just go ahead, trust your intuition and change your mind. You got
Okay.
it? Okay, but perfect. Right, I think we're on the same page now. Now, of this color, you have two suits to choose from, okay? Again, just allow yourself, just nod your head to let me know that you've thought of it, okay? Brilliant. Okay, excellent. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page here. I'm pretty sure. I can't be totally sure, but you're thinking of I'm pretty sure you're thinking of the right suit. Now, all I need you to do is think of the value, okay? From ace through to king. And now just whenever you just feel like you just nod your head to let me know that you've got the suit. Okay, you've got it? Perfect. Now you should have a card in mind. You put the value and the suit together and you have a card in mind.
Yep.
Okay, brilliant. This is going to be wild, dude. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I really hope it does. But I've got a deck of cards here. And what I want you to do is I just want you to go through and just find the card for me, okay? And then I'll give you the card and you'll go through and you'll find whatever card you're thinking of, okay? I say, like, just pop it on the top of the deck and just give it back to me, okay? And so at this point, I don't really know what card you're thinking of, but I'm using a marked deck, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and say that you were thinking of the 9 of hearts. And I say, right, interestingly enough, Brandon, when you first thought of a card, you were thinking of a black card, weren't you? And you were like, yeah. And I'm hoping that you changed your mind to a red card. And you're like, okay, fuck. And then that's the first hit, right? You're like, oh my God, what the hell? That's fucking wild. Now, out of hearts and diamonds, you could be thinking of either one, but the one I'm thinking of is hearts. So I'm hoping, and then you get the second hit, you're like, oh, fucking hell, he's going to get there. And I'm like, okay, well, out of all the cards that you're thinking of, like, I could have thought of the 7s and the 3s are really popular, but I want it to be a little bit different, okay? So the card I'm thinking of is the 9 of hearts. And then you get a huge reaction. They're like, no fucking way. And then I'm like, are you kidding me? Is that actually the card that you're thinking of? And then you turn it over and they're like, that's amazing. How'd you do that? And I'm like, what? I didn't do that. You did it. Like, you picked up on the card that I was thinking of. Just a little bit of like reverse mind reading, if you know what I mean. And that's kind of like my go-to one because I absolutely love it. It's it's not me reading your mind, it's you reading my mind, and it's a very, 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 very clever effect. And the scripting is so beautiful because it's got so many different hits on the way to revealing the thought of card.
I love that routine, especially utilizing one of my favorite things in Magic.
Yeah. What's that?
A marked deck.
Yeah. Oh, so good. It's so good. And it flies under the radar, like you say. Yeah, you just I either get them to you just say, okay, right. So you just put the card in my hand, right, just here, okay. I'm not going to look, and then you say, okay. So you could have thought of any card, okay, but you thought of this card. Then I get my little peek, right, and then and then that's it. It's just done. And then I get them to put it on the top of the deck. And then hand me back the deck. And there's no real justification in them finding it and putting it on the top of the deck, handing it back to me. There's no justification for that. But no one ever says, why am I doing that? But I guess the justification would be, don't even say it out loud. Don't even just find it. I don't know what it is, but
a good justification could incredible. Be also that way, they can't, their mind is made up. Their mind is set at this card. You know what I mean? So there's no change in your mind after the fact. That's I think a good justification.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So that's what that's my go-to, man. That is my absolute go-to. So and then so I did this the other night and it fucking slays. I absolutely love it. And then I go into which is something that you're probably very, very familiar with is the 9 of hearts is a very special card, okay? I want you to keep hold of it. I'll give it to them. Where can I put it? There. So, and then I'll say, look, and another card which is really special is, oh, Jesus, dodgy double lift, man. is the Joker. The Joker is a very special card because the Joker can be any different card. It can be any card it wants to be. So if it wants to be, it can just completely change into your card, and then they're holding the Joker, and that is just easily my second favorite trick because it just, as much as it's like been done so many times, it's been done like that for a reason because people are like, what the fuck? They're just like,
Yeah, that
yeah,
that trick
it's yeah,
specifically for me, I perform it instead of with the jokers with a duplicate, and I think it hits
yeah,
so hard with people because, and then I also do a lot of like two card Monty. You're familiar with the two card Monty routine, I'm sure, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah,
doing
yeah,
two
yeah.
card Monty. It messes with people all the time, so I kind of played up as hey, would you like to see how magicians swap cards? So then you're kind of giving the explanation. This is how they do. We just do it really fast. So which card do you think is on top? And then they lean it over, and it's neither, and it's just mind blowing. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I absolutely love this one as well, dude. So the reason I love doing it in that order is because when you said you love card magic,
Oh,
I feel like cards are like a very obvious magician prop, and they are right. Cards are very synonymous with poker and magic, really. If you're not playing cards, if you carry a deck of cards with you, you're pretty much a magician, right? I love a little bit of
pretty much.
scripting I
Yeah.
heard from someone recently saying, yeah. You know why we use cards? Why magicians use cards is because they're every time you shuffle a deck of cards, it's never been in the same order. There's a really good scripting. I think you can see where I'm going with this. The possibilities are endless. That's what fucking hell. My
Yeah.
batteries are
An
getting a bit
eight,
low. It might cut off soon.
the
Hold on.
possibility is an eight followed by 67 zeros. One and eight followed by 67 zeros. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So you can lean into that. That's why we use cards because of that. But what I really love about that particular routine is that when I say the thought of card, then I bring the cards out and say, you find the card that you think that I'm thinking of. It's a perfect way to introduce the cards. And then all of a sudden, they've got a card that they're thinking of, the nine of hearts. I've got two jokers on the face, but they're both black and white jokers, so they're identical. And then I just go into the transposition. So it's number one, it's a fucking impossible bit of mentalism, and then the second, it's like a transposition that's like also utterly impossible. And then sometimes I just leave it at that. I'm like, yeah, that'll do. Let's put the cards away. That'll do.
Now,
But yeah, there's
let me ask you this: how do you go into a little bit of experimentation when you start performing things that you're not so comfortable with, that you've just practiced or just got into? How do you go about that? Because I know there's people have different ideas on, should you just run straight into it or should you stay in practice until it's perfect? How do you feel about it?
I think there's a gray area where you can practice too much and never perform. You can get yourself into a cycle of perfectionism, which manifests as procrastination, and then you never end up showing anybody anything. And then there's a lot to be said for making mistakes in the real world. If you like mess something up, you're like, shit. Oh my god, that double lift was absolutely awful. It was so transparent, and like everyone saw it. Or the opposite happens, where you're like, actually, it doesn't really matter that my double lift was shit because I did it in an offbeat moment, and everyone was looking somewhere else. So you just like, there's so much to be experience to be gained from doing stuff in the real world. You either find out what works and what doesn't very, very quickly, and then you know what needs to be worked on better very quickly as well. You're like, oh, well, okay, I need to work on my double lift. Or actually, the timing for the double lift is way more important than the actual skill. Or so again, there's so many different other variables that,
Uh,
yeah.
you make a really good point about that. Like for example, the double lift is something that I've practiced into like an absurd amount for me. Like I wanted to learn specifically the push off double lift because I felt like that was the cleanest version of the double lift. But there is a point of distraction, like whether you're doing a top change or whatever, that as long as you're not looking at it and you can do it without looking and making eye contact with people as you're moving around, I think that is more important than getting the double lift perfect. And I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Um, and then when it comes to like routines, I think patter and presentation is so important, and I think it's underlooked. I'm going to put my phone on charge real quick. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I've got a little battery pack. Fingers crossed that's worked.
You should see my setup. I have the
Think
same
we're
thing
good.
going on over here.
Can I put? I think I've done it. Sick. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, presentation. Like I say, this guy Hugh, and I don't want to sort of throw shade on anyone. He's obviously a sort of bashful, shy performer. He's a hobbyist, dude. He's like put himself out there, but he's running through these tricks so quickly because he doesn't have the confidence to hold the I guess the stage presence, even though he's not on stage. That sort of he doesn't command attention, and he's uncomfortable with like beats of silence or uncomfortable slowing down. And I think that just comes with reps, man. You got to put your reps in. I'm talking like I fucking know what I'm doing, man. Like I should give,
No, but what you're
there's a
saying
grain
is
of,
true. You're what you're saying is true. It's accurate.
yeah.
So I mean, you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I need to take my own advice sometimes. I think that's what I'm saying.
Don't we all? Don't we all? I need to go out there and perform more.
Yeah, absolutely.
More often. I think that's out of everything I've seen from your channel. I think that is the most inspiring thing, is that you're going out there and performing, coming from a hobbyist that's only collecting to, going out there and actually performing. You make me want to go out there and perform. So I love that.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I feel, I don't know why I get this imposter syndrome, but I get, honestly, so much. Hugh, the guy who sent me that video, he's like, thanks so much, man. You really inspired me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have taken this gig. And I'm like, I don't know how me making videos in my lounge, just where I am now, just sat here talking about being an underperforming hobbyist, putting a name on it, putting a label on it, having just talking about it, it has really, honestly, like the amount of messages, the amount of comments, the amount of emails that have said, I perform magic because of you. And I'm like, me? I'm not even a proper magician. What the hell? Like, it's wild. It's flattering. It's surprising.
Well, I mean, therein lies the question: what is a proper magician? When do you become a magician? So I mean,
yeah.
Who's there to define whether or not if you're a magician? Do you have to know all the
secrets? It's a good question.
Do you have to have performed for 10 years solid before you're a magician? So I don't know. I think someone who's out there performing and giving it their all, whether you're good or you're not, or you need more practice, or you're good right away, I think you can still be classified as a magician.
Yes, you're right, but I think because it's a vague term, it's like how do you define magician? I think if you show someone a magic trick, you can be a magician. I feel comfortable now calling myself a magician, especially around other people, because if they'll say, "Oh, well, can you show me a magic trick?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I can." And I love that, but there are different levels of magician, So I think that when you have imposter syndrome when you call yourself a magician, because you're like, well, yeah, I'm a magician, but I'm not David Blaine. I'm a magician, but I'm not Drummond. But I'm probably better than some magicians, but I'm not gonna. I'm on the magician spectrum.
I mean, I still get imposter syndrome from time to time, especially. I think it's something that a lot of magicians don't talk about enough, and that is failure. When you fail. Because it happens to all of us. There's no magician out there that can tell you, hey, I've never failed. I've always hit on point every single time. The best professionals will tell you they failed. And it happens from time to time, right? And that's something that I think isn't talked about enough.
Yeah. I think there's also something about magic that I'm gonna have to bounce soon. By the way, I'll just get a little bit of a heads up and give you maybe 5 more minutes. But I've actually got to go do a few bits and bobs. But I think that I don't find magic cringy at all. I fucking love magic, but I think there is a certain level of cringe if you try to do a magic trick especially in front of other fellas. Like I'm 44 years old, right? So when you're like in your 40s, or like when you're a kid, magic's cool, right? I think magic's cool. I really do believe magic's cool at any age. But there's a certain when you're around other men, right? And they're like burly, like you're a big fella, a scrapper, got a gun, a bit of a gangster, and you do magic, right? Which is a
Yeah.
bit weird. It's like not you don't like the typical magician, right?
Right.
Whereas I think people are bashful around magic because it's not cool as an adult, but I think it is. Yeah, my girlfriend literally just came home, dude. So do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I, I know what you're saying. I mean, I agree because it can be cringy sometimes. I think it's all about your personality and how you come off with it. What do you think?
100%. Like if you're a good magician, you instantly get a lot of street cred. You're like, fuck, that guy's a sick magician. That's amazing. If you're a shit magician, that's awful. That's the worst thing ever. So I think that's where we become underperforming hobbyists because we don't want to be the shit magician, but you have to go through the rite of passage of being at least a fucking average magician before you get to being a good magician.
I think you gotta crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run too. But at least you're
Yeah,
motivated to keep moving forward. I think that's the important
absolutely, dude. Yeah. And I think at the same time, I'm kind of motivating others as well, which is really cool. Kind of I didn't sit out to do that with the channel. It's kind of just this package that's just come along for the ride, and it's it's super cool, man.
Well, I'm going to give you the last word. I'd like to say to anybody who is not subscribed to Fred's channel, go check him out. He has a lot of content that really you can feel. You can feel him. We are alike, all of us magicians out there. And I'm going to give you the last thought, and then we'll go ahead and end it. And hopefully, you can come back another time.
Yeah, cheers, dude. Love to. This was great. What is my last thought? There's a lot of pressure here. I'm still discovering the type of magician that I want to be, right? Do I want to approach strangers? Do I want to, ask them for their attention, or do I want a captive audience? I don't really know. But all I do know is that once you start sharing magic, it becomes real, right? Magic for me is in the reactions of the spectators. It's not to do with the method. There's so many different things that, hello. Magic for me, for a lot of people, is so different. Like, for example, magic creators, that they think about fooling people. They think about magic for magicians. They think about all sorts of things. But for me, magic comes alive when it is shared, and that's really the bottom line. That's what I'm trying to promote with my channel. It's the message I'm trying to get out there is share magic, man, because the world. Every time I've shared magic, I have never regretted it. I've never been like, oh fuck, I wish I hadn't done that. Every single time I'm like, that was sick. That was so good. There's this real inherent reluctance to say, do you want to see a magic trick, right? I was chatting to this girl the other day, and I was saying about a magician. I was really trying to, magician. I've got a magician friend, and I said, do you want to see a magic trick? And then she said, God, I was really hoping you'd say that. Sometimes, man, you got to just go out there and say it. Do you want to see a magic trick? Share magic with people, because people aren't going to all the time ask you to see a magic trick, right? So don't wait for permission. Go ahead. I've waffled, but that's kind of like my closing statement.
All right, Fred, I really appreciate you stopping by, and hopefully we can do this again. This was a great conversation. I had a great time.
I've really enjoyed it. Thanks, Brandon. I really appreciate it, man.
Not a problem, brother. Anytime. And stay in touch.
Yeah. When you end this, is this going to end?
Yeah, I'll end it here in a minute when, yeah. I mean, you want to call me or text me or?
Well, yeah. I mean, whatever, man. If it ends, it ends. But like I say, yeah, it's been great. It's been great chatting to you. My girlfriend's just come home, so I need to give her some attention now. You know what I mean? I'm sure it resonates with you.
I understand that. But just stay in touch, text me or whatever. All right, man. Have a good one.
100%, man. Take it easy.